After he dumped me to marry his close female friend, he went insane with regret. Getting the legal marriage certificate was halfway through when David Thompson's close female friend, Ashley White, sent a street racing crash video. In the footage, her face was covered in blood. And she flipped off the camera. Ash, looks like this is it for me this time. Without a word, he grabbed his suit jacket and bolted. That evening, Ashley White posted a marriage certificate photo with David Thompson, captioning it, "Thanks for the life-saving favor, buddy. You're the best." David Thompson's message popped up shortly after, "Don't overthink it. It's just for show." Ashley White's family was pressuring her to get married, and she was street racing today because she was stressed. "We're just buddies. I helped her out. We'll get divorced in a few days. Don't be like a woman making a fuss over every little thing. Oh, right. My dad's birthday banquet is next month. Remember to bring the contract for the East Side Development Project." I smiled. As the daughter of a billionaire, whoever married me would inherit or control the vast family fortune. David Thompson didn't know that the moment he turned his back, I had already changed my marriage partner. Half a month later, I saw David Thompson again at a private high-end jewelry exhibition. He had his arm around Ashley White's shoulder, letting her reach for the drink in his hand and gulp it down. The surrounding sounds of ambiguous laughter turned into sneers as I pushed open the door and entered. "Well, David, your little shadow finally decided to crawl out of her house? Impressive, Sarah. You lasted 30 days this time. New record, huh? Can't even breathe without Mr. Miller around?" David Thompson slowly raised his eyes, his arm resting on the back of the chair behind Ashley White, pulling her into his embrace. He spoke with a half-smile. "Sarah Miller, have I spoiled you too much? Do you really think you're something special? What? Couldn't even last a month before playing hard to get. Do you really think you're in a position to?" In the 3 years I dated David Thompson, I knew every single one of his taunts and condescending looks by heart. Before, I poured my heart out, and when he publicly belittled me, I always felt that as long as he would just glance my way, it was enough. Afterward, I would constantly reflect on what I did wrong, but at this moment, I just looked at him calmly. "I'm here for the auction." David Thompson raised an eyebrow, clearly not expecting this attitude. Thinking I was just throwing a tantrum, he kicked away a nearby stool, gesturing for me to stand. "Don't act so high and mighty. Since you're here, don't just stand around. Bid up and buy every auction item Ashley White likes. If she's happy, I might consider giving you a smile." "No thanks, I wouldn't dare." Ashley White lounged on the sofa, propping her chin with one hand. "What are you thinking, David Thompson? Trying to corrupt me with money? I'm not like some people who need handouts from men. You won't succeed." David Thompson pinched her cheek, his tone teasing. Yes, I know Ash is amazing. Unlike some people who are useless except for their rich family. Just consider it her way to apologize, make amends. If she hadn't been nagging me that day, you wouldn't have crashed your street racing today. Just give her a chance to show off. It's not like she has nowhere to spend her money. Ashley White snorted coldly, glancing at me with a look of condescending pity. "Sarah, I have to say, women should be independent and self-reliant like men. You can't always think about being a parasite. Digger, what kind of skill is it to always rely on others? You should be like me. Look at them. Who doesn't call me Ash?" She gestured to the people around. "Right, guys?" I looked down at the diamond bracelet on her wrist, worth tens of thousands, and smiled without speaking. A parasite, digger who relies on others telling me to be independent and self-reliant. I turned and walked towards the VIP section, finding a quiet seat. David Thompson's brows furrowed slightly, staring blankly at my back, seemingly realizing I was different from before. Before he could speak, his group of friends started heckling again. "Hey, why are you hiding so far away? Haven't seen David for a month. Don't you want to get a good look? Speaking of which, David, has your charm decreased? Can't mesmerize our Sarah anymore? I heard the Miller Group is announcing its heir next week. Mr. Miller only has one precious daughter. Whoever marries Sarah Miller will take over the entire Miller empire." David Thompson's expression turned unpleasant, and someone immediately started flattering him. It must be David. Everyone in the city's elite circles knows Sarah Miller is just David's dog. If he tells her to go east, she'll never go west. I'll congratulate David in advance right here. Once David takes over the Miller Group, won't he be the one calling the shots in the city's elite circles? David Thompson feigned indifference, but the corner of his mouth lifted slightly. He deliberately raised his voice. "These brainless rich girls can only rely on their family's money to act high and mighty. Marry one home. Hey, Even Ashley White's little finger is 100 times better than her. I've seen plenty of women throwing themselves at men, but this is the first time I've seen one this desperate. It's only because I'm kind-hearted. Anyone else would have gotten rid of her long ago. He squinted at me, anticipating my pathetic display of tears and distress. In the past, at times like this, I would have already been teary-eyed with grievance. But now, let alone feeling wronged, I couldn't even be bothered to give him a proper look. Just a dog barking. I simply flipped through the auction catalog, seeing if anything interested me. David Thompson's face darkened, and just as he was about to lash out at me, Ashley White grabbed his arm. All right, women are like clothes. The auction's starting. Let's get down to business first. David Thompson had no choice but to suppress his anger and sit back down. Throughout the entire auction, Ashley White joined in on almost every auction item lot. She would deliberately raise her paddle while loudly saying, "Hey, this one's nice. Too bad I'm a little short on cash lately." Without hesitation, David Thompson waved his hand and made a spot bid call the highest price for all of them. Ashley White laughed freely and gave David Thompson a hug. "Good buddy, that's you. Loyal. I won't forget this favor." Then she turned and raised an eyebrow at me. "Thanks, Sarah." I couldn't be bothered with her, only pausing at the final auction item lot. A pair of green diamond cufflinks, simple yet luxurious design. They would suit him well. Probably like them for the wedding. Just as I was about to raise my paddle, Ashley White spoke. "Well, finally making a move," she whistled. "Is this to apologize, make amends to David?" I didn't answer, just made a spot bid. The moment the auctioneer's hammer fell, Ashley White slammed the table and stood up. I didn't even bid yet. I frowned. The auctioneer hit the hammer 3 times. "Are you deaf?" I didn't get a chance to call it out. She tugged at David Thompson. "David, tell her, right?" David Thompson frowned, looked at me, and shouted at the auctioneer. "Ray, bid the item." The entire room fell silent. I rolled my eyes, raised my hand, and signaled the staff to process the payment. Just as I was about to leave, David Thompson threw over a stack of receipts. "Bills, what's the rush? These haven't been paid yet." I flipped through them. All the receipts for tonight's auction items were there. I was puzzled. Why should I? Do I look like a total pushover? David Thompson leaned close and whispered in my ear, "Aren't you trying to win favor with me? Just pay for these auction items, and it'll give you a chance tonight." Looking at his winking and smirking face, a wave of nausea washed over me. How on earth was I so blind to fall for this kind of person back then? Seeing me remain silent for a long time, Ashley White sauntered over. "David, could your girlfriend have misunderstood our relationship? Don't let her throw a fit. We have a pure buddy bond. Heaven and earth can attest. Besides, it's only natural for a girlfriend to buy her boyfriend a little gift." Looking at Sarah's usual demeanor, I didn't expect. I looked at the clothes Ashley White was wearing and suddenly smiled. "This shirt, 100,000. I bought it." "This jacket, 140,000. I bought that too." David wore them often. I just don't know how they ended up on Miss Ashley White. Is it because of this touching buddy bond? Ashley White's expression changed. "It's just clothes. Wearing them is no big deal. We're just buddies. What's there to be afraid of?" David Thompson, who had been feeling a bit guilty, instantly became self-righteous. "Exactly, we're just buddies. If Ashley White and I were going to be anything, it would have happened ages ago. It wouldn't be your turn. Why are you being so suspicious all the time, like a woman? Hurry up and pay." Looking at the smug face of the man in front of me, I almost laughed out of anger. What kind of male and female buddies share clothes and even a bed? Spending my money, claiming they're just buddies, carrying on an affair, intimate illicitly in the house I bought, in my bed. When they were discovered, they twisted it around and said I was the one with the dirty mind. 3 years, the face I was once obsessed with now looked repulsive. The moment he turned away at City Hall, I made up my mind. Looking back on those 3 years now, I only felt disgusted. I only regretted that I woke up too late, wasting 3 precious years. Fortunately, it wasn't too late to cut my losses. Seeing me remain silent for a long time, David Thompson snatched the cufflinks and fastened them to his own cuff. He was full of impatience. "All right, stop sulking. I've accepted your gift. If you keep this up, it'll actually get angry. Hurry up and go pay." David Thompson's buddies also chimed in. "Yeah, Sarah. A little fussing is fine. Too much is bad for you. David's already backed down. Don't push your luck. Just a few $100 million? It's just pocket money for you. Hurry up and pay. We're in a hurry to get to the next event." I looked at the faces of these people. My most anticipated, Sarah, was finally called out, but I didn't feel any joy. I smiled and threw the stack of receipts back. Yeah, I have money. But I don't want to. How about this? David Thompson and Ashley White. $1,000 a slap. Whoever slaps them comes to me for the money. The group looked left and right, saying nothing. Ashley White's face turned pale. She raised her hand and gave David Thompson a loud smack, muttering, "Who are you looking down on, you capitalist pig? Do you think everyone likes your crappy money?" Without thinking, I slapped her twice in return, perfectly symmetrical on both sides. David Thompson moved to slap me back on behalf of Ashley White, but I looked him in the eye. The Thompson family. David Thompson's pupils contracted. His raised hand stopped abruptly, still trembling slightly from the effort. "Sarah Miller, you're ruthless. Even if you knelt and begged me this time, I wouldn't forgive you." He glared at me, turned, and pulled Ashley White away. I didn't care. I held up my phone. "The slap offer is still valid. If anyone's interested, remember to contact me with a video. Cash on delivery." If it were before, David Thompson's words would have scared me pale and trembling all over. I would have been desperate to kneel and beg him not to be angry, and I would have sent batch after batch of gifts to his house. But now, I just found it utterly ridiculous. I even had the leisure to guess how many videos I might receive. I remembered that those buddies, their family backgrounds weren't great. $10,000. At least it could ease things up for them. They're buddies. A slap could be considered helping out. I touched my face. As for today's slaps, consider it paying back David Thompson's life-saving favor from 3 years ago. After all, David Thompson said he and Ashley White were just buddies. Presumably, H'd be happy to help out a buddy. 3 days later, the jewelry store manager called to inform me that the engagement ring the Davis family had custom made for me was ready. As I pushed open the door, I saw David Thompson with his arm around Ashley White, standing at the counter. "Such a coincidence, Sarah?" Ashley White was the first to spot me. "David said a fake marriage still needs some ceremony, so we came to pick out a ring." She shrugged. "Don't get the wrong idea. David Thompson didn't even look up. Don't pay attention to her. He was focused on picking out a ring for Ashley White." Ignoring the gossiping glances from those around me, I asked a salesperson to get the ring. The ring fit perfectly, and it was the style I liked. I was very satisfied after trying it on. But David Thompson snatched the ring box, his face full of disbelief. "Sarah Miller, you're actually doing this? It's just a small thing. Why are you throwing such a huge temper?" "What else?" I said calmly. "Should I treat marriage like a game, like you do?" Looking at David Thompson's angry expression, I was truly curious. How can someone be so shameless? His nominal wife was standing right next to him, and he could still loudly talk about another girl. I had refused him repeatedly. Why did he always act like it was no big deal? This was the person I had loved for 3 years, pushing his luck again and again because of my indulgence. How terrible was my taste back then? While I was still thinking, Ashley White suddenly snatched the ring. She roughly shoved it onto her finger. Let Ash see what kind of crap the daughter of a billionaire ordered. In that instant, I even had the presence of mind to think, truly buddies. They even share the same habit of grabbing things. If she wanted to try on the ring, fine. But seeing how hard she was pushing, I kindly reminded her, "This is a custom piece, Miss Ashley White. The size might not be right for you." Chi, how stingy. Ashley White pouted, throwing the ring aside carelessly. "What kind of garbage here? Take it back." I nodded. "Practice makes perfect. You'll know what size to get next time, however. This one is 100 million Chinese yuan. How would you like to pay? By credit card or cash?" Ashley White was furious. "Forced sale." I just tried it on. I pointed to the ring she had forcefully pushed onto her finger. "Trying it on is fine, but unfortunately, the ring is damaged. I presume you can afford a ring." I looked at them thoughtfully. "Who are you looking down on? David? David?" Ashley White shook David Thompson, who had been lost in thought after I spoke. "Credit card." David Thompson looked preoccupied. I signaled the salesperson to process the payment. "Oh, I forgot to mention. This store is mine." The salesperson was quick, processing the credit card payment smoothly. As I was leaving, David Thompson stopped me again. His eyes were full of anticipation. "My wedding with Ashley White is this Friday. Are you coming?" "This Friday?" I looked at David Thompson strangely. The news of the daughter of a billionaire's engagement this Friday had already spread. I didn't believe he didn't know. So what was David Thompson trying to do? Did he think I would give up my own engagement ceremony? I didn't understand. My attitude was dismissive. Congratulations on your wedding in advance. I have something going on that day, so I won't be able to attend, but my best wishes are with you. He frowned. You're not jealous. Jealous? Why would I be jealous? Men and women get married when they're supposed to. They already got their marriage certificate. They're just having a wedding ceremony. That's what I thought, and that's what I said. It was truly baffling. Oh, so you're jealous. David Thompson said with a sudden realization after hearing me. I knew you couldn't let go of me. Don't worry. It'll be at the engagement ceremony. But you'll have to ask your dad to postpone it by about 2 hours. I'll attend my wedding with Ashley White and then rush straight to the engagement ceremony. I'll make it in time. He looked smug, pleased with the idea he had come up with. My head was full of question marks. How did someone like this even make it this far in life? What a scumbag. He wanted to have his cake and eat it too. Had the King dynasty not been informed that it was over? Unbelievable. Fortunately, I had already cut my losses in time and changed grooms early on. Oh, right. Remember to transfer the money for the ring to me. We can use this one too. It'll do. David Thompson took my compliance for granted, his tone arrogant. I desperately told myself it was a society ruled by law now, which was the only way I managed to suppress those violent thoughts. Enough is enough. Take your ring and get out, bodyguards. Get him out of here. David Thompson put his arm around Ashley White and as they were leaving, still shouted, Sarah Miller, I gave you an easy way out, a chance to save face. Don't be ungrateful not knowing what's good for you. No one saw the fleeting look of malice in Ashley White's eyes with the ring gone. I was wondering how to explain it to Thomas Davis, as it was my oversight. But his call came first. I instinctively apologized. He said it wasn't my fault and I didn't need to apologize. Sarah, the wedding is about us, and we'll face whatever comes up together, just like our future life. The ring has been expedited and will be ready in time. His voice was steady and gentle, inadvertently calming the anxiety hidden within me. I felt relieved. I thought, there's one more thing I need to do. I drove to the house I bought for David Thompson. I needed to get back the locket I gave him. It was my mother's relics before. My heart and mind were completely filled with David Thompson, believing he was the one I would rely on for the rest of my life. The locket was given away carelessly as soon as I entered the neighborhood. The security guard at the entrance greeted me warmly. Miss Sarah, you're here today too. Coincidentally, your boyfriend is also here today. I pressed my twitching right eyelid. David Thompson? Why would he be here too? In the past 3 years, he had only come here a handful of times. A bad feeling arose. I casually brushed off the security guard and hurried upstairs. The moment I pushed open the door, my blood almost froze. Ashley White was tossing the locket up and down, and David Thompson was playing along. Nice, Ash, good aim. Up and down, up and down. My heart pounded uncontrollably. David Thompson knew it was my mother's relics. After my mother passed away, I couldn't sleep night after night. Only holding this locket could give me some peace of mind. After I was with David Thompson, he also hugged me and comforted me countless times. And now, it was being played with carelessly. How dare they? Give me the locket. My voice was hoarse. Ashley White raised an eyebrow. It's just a locket. What's the rush? Besides, why did you come in without knocking? I ignored her. Just looked at David Thompson. I'll say it again. Give me the locket. Ashley White was offended by my bluntness, and the locket was tossed high again. Crack. The locket fell to the ground, breaking into several pieces. Oops, it slipped. Ashley White said without any apology, Miss Sarah, you're a generous person. You won't mind, right? I stared at the broken locket, my heart aching. David Thompson, however, was indifferent. It's just a locket. If it's broken, it's broken. You have money anyway, just buy another one. Don't forget to tell your dad to postpone the engagement ceremony otherwise. If the groom is missing from the wedding, you'll be the one embarrassed, he said with a playful look. Also, remember to have your dad bring the contract for the East Side Development Project. Consider it a gift for my parents. Oh, right. Our family tradition dictates women should stay out of the public eye, so after the engagement, you should transfer your family fortune assets to me to manage, and you can just focus on being a good wife and mother at home. And I ignored him, picked up the broken locket, and turned to leave. David Thompson's voice kept coming from behind. What kind of attitude is that? Do you really think you're something special, Sarah Miller? Laugh. Say what you want. I'll see if you two, that scum and his accomplice, can still laugh on the day of the engagement. On the day of the engagement ceremony, the city's elite circle's big shots gathered. Notables from other places also traveled thousands of miles to offer congratulations. As soon as David Thompson entered, he was surrounded by people congratulating him. David, starting today, you'll be the Miller family's golden boy. Truly the #1 figure in the city's elite circles. Don't forget about me. The groom and bride are a perfect match. Handsome man and beautiful woman. David and Miss Sarah are truly a match made in heaven. Don't mention it. Don't mention it. I definitely won't forget you, gentlemen. David Thompson raised his eyebrows arrogantly, casually cupped his hands, and scanned the ballroom, his gaze finally settling on me. I wore a haute couture gown and walked slowly towards him. He lowered his voice, triumph evident in his eyes. Sarah Miller, it's not too late to beg me now, otherwise, later, your ceremony won't have a groom. With so many people here, you wouldn't want your father to be humiliated, would you? His tone was confident, as if certain I had no choice. Just then, my father appeared with the lawyer. He smiled at me. Honey, since you've chosen the person yourself, you announce it. I smiled slightly and walked towards David Thompson. I walked past him and went straight towards Thomas Davis behind him. Under the shocked gazes of everyone, I heard my own firm voice clearly. Welcome everyone to the engagement ceremony of the Miller family's daughter of a billionaire, Sarah Miller, and the Davis heir, Thomas Davis. 5. The entire ballroom erupted. David Thompson violently kicked over a table, his face contorted in rage. Sarah Miller, you're insane. Magnificent. It turns out so many expressions can appear on one person's face at the same time. Thomas Davis lifted his eyes and calmly stepped in front of me. David, watch your language. I don't want any unpleasantness on a happy day like this. David Thompson tried to charge forward again, but Thomas Davis had already signaled the bodyguards to stop him. He stared at me in disbelief. You clearly promised to marry me. How could you? I sneered. Are you worthy? The whispers from the guests below the stage were constant. Just a moment ago, he was acting like the groom, so arrogant, but she didn't even look at him. The city's elite circles are about to change. Without the Miller family's support, the Thompson family won't last long. Plenty of people are ready to make a move. Oh dear. Trying to flatter but hitting the wrong spot. We need to inform the family immediately to stop business cooperation with the Thompson Group. David Thompson's face turned from green to white, like a provoked beast. He pointed at Thomas Davis and roared, was it him? Did he force you? Sarah, he has bad intentions. He's just after your family fortune assets. Only I truly love you. I chuckled softly, took out my phone, and pressed play. David, you're engaged to Sarah Miller. What about me? Don't worry. I'll get divorced once I get her family fortune assets. By then, I'll have to rely heavily on Ash. Then came sounds of playful laughter. The audio recording played on repeat in the ballroom. I watched David Thompson's ashen face with interest. Sound familiar? David Thompson? You deserved this karma comeuppance from the moment you abandoned me. That's fake. He stammered in panic. Sarah, listen to me. I can explain. Explain what? I slowly put away my phone. Explain how you plan to steal my family fortune assets. I took a step back, stared at David Thompson's pale face, and deliberately smiled. Guess where this audio recording came from? Of course, it was given to me by your group of good buddies, with their own hands, for just $10,000. They stopped recognizing you as a buddy. David Thompson, how did you manage to be such a failure of a person? As I finished speaking, I saw Ashley White rush into the ballroom. It was like I just remembered something as I spoke. Oh, I heard Ashley White is pregnant. Do you think the child is yours? David Thompson choked like a chicken, instantly silenced. I shook my head, feeling a bit bored. Forget it. For the sake of those 3 years, I'll give you one more piece of information as a favor. Today is the day the Miller Group officially takes over the Thompson Group. You can go check now. Maybe you can still make it for the final contract signing. But don't worry. I specifically saved a cleaning position for you. And don't thank me. You know how I am. Kind-hearted. You. David Thompson's eyes bulged with fury as the bodyguards dragged him out of the ballroom. From afar, I saw him grappling with Ashley White. I let out a gentle breath. Thomas Davis's warm hand silently stroked my back. Do you regret it? He asked. I do. Seeing his stunned expression, I spoke again. I regret waking up too late. I should have done this sooner. I truly regret not doing this until today. The farce ended, and the engagement ceremony continued. Unexpectedly, my father transferred 25% of the Miller Group's shares to me during the ceremony. From then on, I became the second largest shareholder of the Miller Group. After getting married, I would receive another 10% of the shares. I nodded, not arguing, that's more like it. Who said whoever married me could inherit the Miller Group? Times have changed nowadays. Women can also shine in the business world. Why shouldn't I inherit the Miller Group? But unexpectedly, Thomas Davis also transferred 20% of the Davis Group's shares to me. Oh, right. He was already the actual head of the Davis Group. There was a slight hitch after the ceremony. I suggested we just go get the legal marriage certificate on the way and skip the wedding to save trouble. But Thomas Davis disagreed, insisting on preparing a grand wedding for me. He said everyone only has one wedding, and he wanted to give me the best. I wanted to retort that everyone has more than one wedding, but looking up at his face, I didn't dare. The wedding date was set for 3 months later, the day it was officially decided. My father called me into the study and double-checked, honey. Although your wedding with Thomas Davis is set, if you're not truly sincere, Dad, I'm sincere. I'll never forget the day David Thompson abandoned me at City Hall. I called him over 20 times, and he didn't answer any of them. Under the sympathetic gazes of the staff, I walked out of City Hall disheartened. I didn't notice the truck running a red light. When the blinding headlights shone on me, I froze in that instant. Many things flashed through my mind: my father's back leaning over his desk at night, my mother's face unable to let go of me on her deathbed. So many things. It turned out my life was quite remarkable. At that moment, I thought if I could survive, screw love. There were too many things I hadn't done. Perhaps it was fate's mercy. In the nick of time, someone pulled me away. As we rolled, that person shielded me from the stones with their back. When I woke up in the hospital, I was about to tell David Thompson that our relationship was over when I saw Ashley White's social media post. While I was facing life and death, they were busy getting married. This was for the best. In that instant, my last shred of hesitation vanished. I also knew the person who saved me. It was Thomas Davis. Actually, Thomas Davis and I were childhood sweethearts. My mother passed away early when I was a child, and my father was busy with work most of the time. I was raised by Thomas Davis. When I was a young girl experiencing my first crush, I naturally fantasized about Thomas Davis. After all, he was good at studying, had a great physique, and was emotionally intelligent. It was hard not to be drawn to him, but the time for parting came quickly. His parents planned to develop their business abroad, and he naturally had to go too. Before leaving, he said softly to me, "Sarah, wait for me to come back." I agreed. I waited and waited, until I was 20, and he hadn't returned, so I told myself, Sarah Miller, just be impulsive this once. I went to the country where they had moved to find him that year. But unfortunately, I ran into a shootout. In my dazed consciousness, someone shielded me from a bullet. When I woke up, only David Thompson was by my side, and I thought it was him. My youthful affection was too intense. I forgot the promise I made before, and willingly drowned in it. I just didn't expect the young man to change so quickly. It wasn't until many years later, when Thomas Davis saved me again, that memories flashed back and I remembered the past. I couldn't believe the young man from back then had changed, so I indulged him again and again. Unfortunately, it turned out the young man from back then wasn't David Thompson. When the private investigator delivered the news, Thomas Davis was by my side, so I asked him, did the promise from back then still count? He said it did, so this time, I wouldn't miss it again. I firmly told my father, Dad, I know you're worried about me, but marrying Thomas Davis is something I've thought through carefully. It's not on a whim. I moved my lips and finally said it. I love him. My father sighed in relief. I've only had you, honey. Your mother left early, and I was busy with the company in my younger years. I didn't really take care of you. By the time I realized it, it was already too late. It's my fault. Dad's fault. All I want is for you to be happy. Thomas is a good kid. He's a good kid. He's been asking about you all these years, but he wouldn't let me tell you. With you two together, I can rest assured. When I walked out of the study, Thomas Davis was waiting outside. I ran over and took his hand. Couldn't trust me and came to keep an eye? How about now? Feeling relieved? Sarah, I was afraid you weren't serious about marrying me, he said earnestly, but now, I'm not worried anymore. I shook the hand I was holding. Dad said you often asked him about me. Why didn't you ask me directly? We were so close once. Thomas Davis pretended to be relaxed. By the time I woke up, you were already gone from the hospital. Later, when I contacted Dad, you already had a boyfriend. I figured, as long as you were doing well, I could rest easy knowing how you were. If I had known David Thompson was such a scumbag, I wouldn't have let you go. Did you ever think about what would happen if I didn't recognize you? I stared into his eyes. Then I would have waited a few more years. Life is long. I would eventually wait for you. See, I waited. Seeing David Thompson was unexpected. When I saw him, my first reaction was, what a sight. In just a few days, he looked decades older. His clothes, which used to fit well, now hung loosely on him. His whole being radiated a sense of deathly stillness. When he saw me, his eyes lit up with joy. Sarah, it's me, David Thompson. I know you still have feelings for me. I've come to apologize. Please forgive me this one time. We'll live a good life together from now on. Forget Ashley White and Thomas Davis. Just the two of us. Buy a little cottage. You weave clothes and I'll farm. Like God's living happily. As he spoke, his eyes began to sparkle. I tried to pull at the corner of my mouth to smile, but couldn't. David Thompson, what kind of daydream are you having? Why would I give up a good life to live that hard life with you? If you jumped off that building, I might actually think highly of you. But what's with this faking madness, acting crazy here? Seeing him show no reaction for a while, I wondered if he was truly insane. I frowned and kindly reminded him, do you still want to say you saved my life? Yes, I saved your life. Sarah Miller, you can't be repaying kindness with malice. Ungrateful. David Thompson was smug, as if he had found a free pass. Okay, looks like he's faking it. I thought to myself. My words weren't any kinder. If I were you, I would have crawled into a hole ages ago. Knowing that my fiancé is Thomas Davis. Did that remind you of anything? What? Did you get so used to using other people's identities that you forgot you're a thief? As my words fell, I didn't want to listen anymore. I motioned for the bodyguards to drag him out of the neighborhood. The security in this neighborhood is usually good, but this time, looks like some people need to be reminded again. It was just an unpleasant little interruption. Time passed day by day, and soon it was the day of my wedding with Thomas Davis. He hadn't lied. The wedding was indeed very grand. The wedding was spectacular. On the wedding day, Thomas Davis came to pick me up early, because of the custom of not seeing each other for 3 days before the wedding. This was the first time we had seen each other in 3 days. Handsome. When I saw Thomas Davis, I instinctively whistled internally. He looked lean in clothes, but had abs underneath. Of course, I didn't miss the look of amazement in his eyes. At the wedding, when the officiant asked, Mr. Thomas Davis, do you take Miss Sarah Miller to be your wife? To have and to hold from this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, till death do us part. I saw Thomas Davis's eyes turn red. Perhaps everything was the best arrangement. Hearing about David Thompson and Ashley White again was a bit sudden. It had been a long time since I heard those two names. Their names appeared on a legal news segment, true crime show. David Thompson had actually considered getting divorced, but after the Thompson Group was acquired, his life took a nosedive, and he needed someone to take care of him, and Ashley White happened to be a woman, quite suitable. Since they were married anyway, he couldn't run off. Whether as a buddy or a wife, Ashley White should stay with him. At first, Ashley White was very obedient, covering all the daily meals, chores, and housework by herself. Only occasionally would she blurt out, "You got off cheap today. Ash usually doesn't serve people. David, go wash some fruit for me." This wasn't pleasant to hear, and David Thompson instinctively felt annoyed. Then one time after drinking, when Ashley White started nagging again, David Thompson punched her. When his fist landed on Ashley White, David Thompson felt his entire soul elevate. From then on, whenever he was unhappy, David Thompson would start hitting her. Ashley White had resisted too. But there was a natural physical difference between men and women. The more she resisted, the harder David Thompson hit her. Getting used to it, Ashley White stopped resisting, only mechanically covering her head when she was beaten, until one day, David Thompson saw Ashley White arm in arm with a man. He thought of himself, and he thought of the child that had been. Malice took over. He didn't realize Ashley White was pregnant, and during the beating, she had a miscarriage, lost the baby. Ashley White went insane on the spot. She picked up a kitchen knife and started hacking. By the time she came to her senses, David Thompson had died with eyes wide open, restless spirit. She buried the baby and immediately stabbed herself. It wasn't until the smell of decay started that the neighbors discovered them. I read about the whole incident with some reflection. I didn't feel much emotion. The future is long. We must move forward with big strides.